Bora Boye. A few years ago, people who were, closer to me and have been worshiping in the temple will very definitely remember this. But a few years back, I prayed to be fine. I asked to be fearless. And if I had known then what I know now, I probably would have been a little bit more careful about that request. Because Ifa promptly put me in contact with my greatest fears. And so what I learned from that is what I want to share with you, which is face your fears. Acknowledge your fears and face them. Transcend your limiting thoughts. Transcend your perceived inadequacies. Overcome them, so that you can become the person who you are destined to be. I remember when I was about 8, I knew that I was an artist. I knew that I was creative, not just because of my talent with drawing and painting, but because of the way that color and form affected me. I knew that I loved colors. I loved shapes. You know what I mean? It was just something that was great to me, and I loved expressing myself through colors and shapes. But at the same time, I also had accepted the idea that artists don't make money, and so I was going to do something more practical and lucrative, like be a doctor. And in retrospect, I realized how we internalize the fears and the perceived limitations of our friends, of our families, of our community, of our generation, and we accept these ideas and internalize them before we even can realize or are aware of the fact that we're being put into a box and we're being constrained. And very few people, in my experience, actually muster the courage and the discipline to break the cycle of fear-based decision making. And they allow themselves to remain defined by, the things that are put before them, the parameters that are set before them. People say, that our greatest fear is public speaking. And it is, I've seen that does, frighten people a lot. But I don't think that public speaking is our greatest fear, not by any stretch of the imagination. I've coached people into being able to deliver public addresses. I've coached people to be able to deliver speeches, to facilitate workshops, teach classes. I know that can be done. I've seen it done. I've done it. The greatest fear that people have is self-discovery. When you want to see somebody really squirm and you know what I mean, kind of act out what you might imagine an exorcism to be, you put them into the situation where they've got to really face their fears. They've got to really go about the discipline and the process of discovering themselves, discovering their natural gifts and talents, accepting those natural gifts and talents, embracing them, and using them as their first, line of defense, right? That's when you're going to see exactly how intensely people are afraid of discovering themselves. And so self-doubt is really the greatest silent killer. It kills dreams. It destroys aspiration. It consumes hope, And so people are going to, they're not going to take you seriously when you say that you're going to change the world. They're not going to just get behind you when you take a position to do something phenomenal or something epic. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are going to, they're going to quietly plot your demise. And if they see the slightest bit of vulnerability, they're going to come out like vultures to try to undo you and destroy you. Not because they have a better plan, not because, you're trying to do what they want to do, but because they're afraid that your success, your fulfillment, your self-realization is going to only amplify their own inadequacies. But let me tell you something. The more adversity you get, even the more intensely you feel self-doubt, know that the greater you're being forced to decide what's most important. And what I want you to know is that your destiny is greater than your fears. Your destiny is greater than your problems. Your destiny is greater than public opinion. Your destiny is greater than your enemies and your adversaries. And so at every step of the way, as you feel the pinch and the burn of fear and doubt from within yourself and from around you, continue to look to your destiny. Continue to call out to your destiny. Continue to envision your destiny and reach out to it and allow it to pull you above and beyond all of the limitations that you experience and you perceive in the moment. Live the medicine. Aboro aboye, aboshishe.